What's going on, everybody in the VC? Craig here with my response to VinylCollectorMan's 50 subs contest. First and foremost, Dave, congrats, brother. Man, 50 subs, that's killer. You know, can't beat it. And I think you're almost at 100 now. So before you know it, we're going to be doing the 500 subs contest. Give it another couple weeks, you know. We'll let it, you know, linger on for a little while. So, first up, congrats. Love the videos, man. You know, I know you're new to the vinyl community, and you're a great part of it already. You know, showing some killer shit. You know, I love your little icon, avatar. Angus, of course, it's AC/DC. How can you not love it? And killer dude, showing great stuff over on his channel. You know, gotta love him. Killer dude. And his question, you know, sort of thread question was, what was the first album you ever bought? And that one really got me to think. Like, there have been some ones where, you know, questions that kind of evoke something, and I'm like, I gotta really think about this. This one, Jesus, this one's taken me a bit to really think about. I have to really, like, rack my brain. Trust me, dude. I mean, I may only be 27, but let's just say I've done plenty of brain frying, you know, in my lifetime. So the brain doesn't remember as much as it used to. Life will do that to you. So let's get right into it. When I started thinking about it, I started, you know, thinking about, well, you know, what were my first CDs, what were my first cassettes? You know, kind of the same angle Brandon took. And that one was tough enough alone. I started thinking about cassettes, and I'm like, well, that was when I started buying cassettes when I was about 7. So, and before that I was buying a lot of blank cassettes and making my own mixtapes from the radio and my dad's collection, but I couldn't really think of the exact, like, first cassette I ever bought. The closest one I could probably remember would be Aerosmith's Greatest Hits. You know, and I was a big Aerosmith fan growing up. So when I was about 7, 8, 9 years old, that's, you know, I was buying a lot of Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, All the Novas, self-titled. I remember getting that, but that was like when I was in 3rd grade, so I already had a small cassette collection going. So that one was really tough to think about. CDs, I remember my first gifts as CDs, like the first ever CD I ever got was have fun laughing at this one, Joey Lawrence, his self-titled debut. Don't knock it, that was really fucking good at the time. That was my jam when I was 7. That was a killer one. But then, like, you know, other ones I started thinking about, okay, well, what was the first ones, you know, that I started getting, but they were like gifts, so like Def Leppard's Greatest Hits, Bon Jovi, Crossroads, when those came out. Bon Jovi was 93 or 94, Def Leppard I think was 95, 94, 95, I don't remember. Like, and I think first CDs, like, that one was really kind of sketchy. Like, I remember buying, like, the Beatles' Rubber Soul when I was 10, and I bought the Black Album by Metallica that same summer. And I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, were those the first ones I ever bought, or did I buy other stuff? Because I also bought, like, cassette singles and CD singles, and so I'm like, well, I can't remember at all with the CDs. Vinyl was a different story. Easily could remember that one. Now, when I started collecting, it was pretty much just kind of gifts, you know, like, my first, you know, handful of records were given to me by my youngest brother's godfather, and I also got, you know, records from my grandparents and stuff like that, you know, a year or two down the line, so I had a little collection, but they were all gifts and stuff, and there really wasn't too many places to shop for used vinyl or anything like that around here. There was one store, but I didn't learn about that until I was into my mid to later teens, when I was probably more like 14, 15, 16 is when I really was, you know, going there to buy, you know, my used vinyl and stuff like that. But my first ever album that I bought, still sealed, brand new, was when I was 14, and it is what you hear in the background, but you hear the CD version in the background, so I'm going to be able to show you guys the vinyl. That would be Slipknot's first album. I bought this. This came out in 1999. I remember buying this in 2000, so I was 14 years old. Bought it from Hot Topic, which I'm vibing there with Travis, because I know he picked up his Gorillaz album from there. And it was limited edition pressing on green vinyl. custom labels. Now that was just fucking killer. Like, it was they had a little sticker on the front that said, you know, limited edition. I don't remember if it was, it said limited to how many, but it was a green sticker and it said limited edition green vinyl. And immediately I'm like, oh hell yeah. And I think it was only like, it was less than 20 bucks. I think it might have even been 10 bucks. I don't remember. So I remember buying it on my own, and I didn't have a lot of money when I was 14. You know, I didn't have a job. But this is such a sick album. And honestly, I think I've only spun this maybe about 5 or 6 times ever in the 13 years that I've had this. Why? It felt really weird to listen to metal on vinyl growing up. Like, I had a lot more stuff, obviously your classic rock, your 80s stuff. That made more sense because that was produced for vinyl. This was produced to be on CD, not on vinyl. So it made me kind of think, I'm like, wow, new music on vinyl, which now it doesn't bother me. I love music, you know, that was made, you know, from the present day back to, you know, the non-vinyl days. So cool to hear it on vinyl. Nothing too special about this, you know. Sound quality's, you know, I feel like the sound quality's a little bit better on the CD than the vinyl, but it's still cool to have. And I know they released it again on the green vinyl some years later once Slipknot blew up huge. But this is such a major part of my early teens before they blew up and became, you know, all over modern rock radio and mainstream and shit. I love Stone Sour, but they got that more of the Stone Sour vibe in their music, and that just doesn't make sense when you know, you grew up with this band, these guys, and then they're playing, you know, more songs, you know, stuff that caters to a little more of everybody and broadens their audience, which is, it's cool. You know, I got nothing against, you know, a band doing that, and I'm not going to call it selling out. I'm going to call it them developing, but they just developed into something that I didn't want to get into any further. You know, they kind of lost me after Volume 3 because I just got a little too commercial, and that's when I was getting into heavier stuff, you know, death metal, progressive metal, you know, really just stuff that was heavier and shit like that, you know. But to me, at 14, this was the heaviest thing I owned. I think, that would probably be considered one of the heaviest things I own in my collection. So, that would be the first ever piece of vinyl I ever bought. Brand new. Fucking awesome. Congrats again, Dave. You rule. Here's to 500 subs. Take care. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.